Hey everyone, my name is Nick, and welcome back to another video on my $600 Supercharged Mercedes. In today's video, we're finally addressing something a lot of you commented on, and that is the intake. We're moving back to a stock intake, which happens to be a true cold air intake. We're also going to take care of a few quality of life items, and some that are more just for aesthetics. So since the engine cover was completely missing, we got a new used one in the same style for this year. They're actually easier to find in the newer style, but I'm trying to keep it, you know, pretty original style. So we got this one. Put that one in.
Yep.
That feels pretty secure.
Just do.
Wow, look at that. Now with the engine cover done, it's time to deal with this.
I hate you.
This, which is not right. Like, the factory design brings cold air into the airbox, and this brings hot air from the radiator. I don't know why you would do this. It probably costs just as much to get the replacement piece. Oh, at the beginning it was hitting the fan too, because this was loose because that wasn't in properly on the bottom side, if you remember. So this would swing forward a bit and then brr, on the fan. So anyway, we're gonna take this off. Can you push on that?
Garbage.
Okay, now we do have to replace this piece because it's part of the replacement part. So looking at this, it looks like there may be two tabs that hold this in. So that's out. Kind of what worked was getting in here and pushing the tabs that hold the thing in. But now we can put a new one on.
Well, before we do that,
Oh yeah. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so the good news is there's no filter in there. So we just have to get this out. It's probably T27, I want to say. Yes, so these are, nope, T25. You don't need to remove these screws completely to access the air filter. Just unscrew them enough that the lid can come free. Yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. The filter that belongs in here, the MAN C14-114, looks like this. I'll actually just slot in back there, and then gets held in the front. The top of the filter box will squish the nub on the filter to lock it in place, so we had to hold it down while we got the screws started. And that's in. I just have to get this off here. So I think this here we'll see where it pops in. It probably retains it somewhere. So I guess we can pop this in first. Then you can look under here. Bottom pin in first. Snap that in. I think this, does that go, I think that goes down here.
oh,
Okay, yeah, so actually it's in this slot. And this turns. Probably want to use a Phillips head. There you go. And we have a proper cold air intake. Believe it or not, with an actual cold air intake, it feels like the car performs better. I mean, I guess it's not that surprising since it was just pulling in hot air from behind the radiator before. Now, if you remember from previous videos, we got the car running, but the wipers haven't been in the right position. They work just fine, but let's fix that. So as you can see, these wipers are not in the right place. They need to be probably flat or something like that. But what's most likely happened is that the drive shaft on the motor slipped, and so it shifted the parking position to here. So we're gonna try to reset that. To do that, we're gonna have to bring the hood up and then move this drain tray out of the way. That way we can access the bolt that's used to realign the wipers. So this panel has 1, 2, and 3 screws that hold it on here. Or 4, there's one more there. So one here, and then on either side of that arm.
There are a few drains that attach to the cowl, and they look like this. We'll have to keep them in mind when we remove it and when we reinstall it. Our next step is to remove the wiper arms. Sometimes the driver's side arm can get stuck, so using some penetrating oil and lightly tapping the shaft with a hammer can help free it up. Don't try to use anything to pry the wiper arm off, because that could crack the windshield. With the wipers off, we can remove the cowl. Normally, removing the cowl is straightforward, but the glass was replaced on this car and it wasn't done super well, so we had more trouble than expected.
The cowl is attached to this piece that slots over the glass, and you can separate it. I'll be able to show it better when it's off, but there's essentially, this has a little finger that has a little bulge on the bottom side, and then that is like a C channel that's kind of grabs around it. So I was able to separate it at the edge here and then start pushing this out. And that should separate the cowl from this piece here. Yeah, you can start to see it here. Right there. I had to go from this side. And this part will go over the glass again. And now I can just work across like that. And we can reposition this, and you can see it was damaged here, probably when this glass was replaced, because this is not factory glass. So
Just keep pulling.
yep. And the cowl's off.
The cowl and the piece that holds onto the windshield should come off as one unit, but it wasn't reassembled right when the glass was replaced, and the windshield adhesive is in the way in some places. With the cowl off, it's a good time to clean the glass if you need to.
So this is the drive shaft for the wipers, and what likely happened is this slipped and it ended up with park being offset. So normally what I've heard is there's a mark you're supposed to be able to align, but I don't see anything here. So I guess we'll try first putting the wipers on and running them through with the hood closed, and then see how that goes.
You can see here that the wipers move down first. The wiper arms should be positioned so that they're at the bottom of the stroke when the wipers are off. If the mechanism slips, the rest position can end up in the wrong place, like it did here. To find the right position, we shut off the wipers at the lowest point in the stroke. We've marked where the lowest position is because we have to adjust the mechanism so that the wipers stop in the right position.
This is the bolt we have to loosen. And so the idea is once we loosen it, we can rotate this arm here around the shaft until these are aligned with the wipers are aligned with the tape marks. And then we tighten it back down, and it should be aligned properly.
Because we accidentally rotated the motor here, we have to run the wipers through another cycle so the motor goes back to the rest position.
That's gonna hit. We have to reposition that one. Oh, unless this just moved. Well, we'll test it with this. Pop.
Now, because the arm is in front of the motor shaft in this position, we need to get the nut started by hand before we can tighten it with the power tool.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, they kind of touch there, but I don't know if that's a big deal. I mean, it's better. Look at that.
Yeah, that's much better. Okay.
Okay. That'll allow us to lock that down. So now with this tightened back down, made a mark with a paint pen. We're in here for good measure. That's keyed, so we're not touching it. And we marked it here as well. So I got on both sides on the arm, and then the line on the shaft will align with the arm, and we should be good. So I guess now we just have to take the arms back off so we can put the cowl back on. And then we'll be done with that. Perfect. Looks good.
Getting the cowl back on should be simpler if the windshield was installed properly. With the cowl in place and the wipers back on, we're done with this job and we can move on to the grille to get the factory look back.
Now it's time to replace this grille. It's held on with a few bolts. So one here, same thing on the other side, and then up top, right now there's 3. So here, here, and here. I don't know if there's supposed to be more, maybe not. I think that's right, yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna take that out.
There are supposed to be. There's one here. But it's missing.
Well, is that's where the latch is. So
Hmm?
that's where the latch is, so I don't know.
Still supposed to be there. Yeah. You can access it right here.
Oh yeah.
There's a place for it, it's just not there. Someone.
Pops out. Oh, do you have to put this back in first? Yeah. Make sure your release toggle is in the right place. Yeah, and this is a used one from eBay.
Use Mercedes OEM.
Yeah, because you can get cheaper ones that are aftermarket, but good fit, the best fit and the best look is going to be OEM. Easy. Okay. Yep. That looks way better.
With the grille done, our last step up front is the mesh in the center of the bumper.
As you can see here, the mesh is missing, but all the retainer clips are in place. So what we're going to do is use this, make a new mesh for this. So what we're going to do first is tape some paper over it and trace it, and then we'll fold the edges in, and that'll snap in, and we'll have a new grille.
We did end up making our template a bit too big, so it took some time to trim it down to the right size and shape, but it's easier to remove material than to add.
After some work, got a pretty good grill. Put a little bit of VHB in a couple spots. That'll hopefully help hold it in. And then we'll zip tie it in the middle. But we'll see. This should work. Hopefully it'll hold it in. It'll protect the intercooler.
Here I used a pick to press down the adhesive tape so that it would hold in place better.
There we go.
With the grill back to stock and new mesh in the bumper, we also added a couple more details that you might have noticed if you've been following closely. Here at the back, we got some new used badges and a trunk spoiler. They kind of put the finishing touch in the styling department. With the exterior sorted out for now, it's time to work on a few details that are left in the interior. When we picked up the car, one of the first things we saw was the rear sunshade was up, so we'll start there. Then, we'll move to the passenger door to wrap things up. We originally thought we would be able to fix the sunshade by lubricating the tracks, but it turns out there's another issue. It seems like there's a stripped gear or something in the drive assembly, so for now we're going to leave it in the lowered position. In the future, we'll come back to this and fix it, either with a repair or a replacement.
Now the previous owner, or one of their friends or kids or family, probably had really strong arms and broke this handle, so it's just loose in here. But fortunately, we have a new replacement part right here.
From Mercedes.
From Mercedes, it's a A203 810 1651. You can actually kind of see here. That snaps in, and that is very broken here. So we're gonna fix this. Oh, and what's nice is it comes with a whole set of new screws. So very nice.
To get to the two screws that hold the handle and door panel in, we need to remove the outer shell of the handle.
These do come out.
Yeah.
To remove the panel, unscrew the door lock, remove the striker trim, and pop off the little screw cover that says airbag because there's a T30 screw back there. We also need to remove the tweeter.
I'll get out of your way.
Oh boy.
Now you're getting into the seal.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
There's a clip here that's not clipped. That one's out.
There we go.
You want me to grab this?
Yep, it's very similar to.
Your car. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, full connector here.
Where?
That's the door light.
Yeah, that's the door light.
Okay.
You can pop the door light out from below.
Let me pull this open.
One of those.
Okay, and there's the connector right there. Here. I think the small. The bottom of our door is here. Unfortunately, that bottom one pulled through a bit, but
What happened?
one of the screws is pulled through the material. It'll be alright with the washer, I think.
Yeah, that's probably why they sell it like that. I guess it's very similar to the old Jeep handle issue.
I guess so. Oh, and up here, I think Fortunately, from the back here, we can push on the tabs that will release this. But let's check on the other side first. Yeah, this one pulled through.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll keep the foam from the original handle for the new one, and then remove the broken handle piece by pushing on the 2 tabs that hold it in.
Push in here, and there. I'm gonna push that. That snapped in. That seems to be aligned. And from here we can check. Yep, that's in. These are Phillips. Okay. 2 and 2 washers, probably to help reinforce that. Feels good. And that is the back side done.
We also need a couple new clips for the door panel.
This replacement clip should be the right kind. Okay.
The first thing we'll reconnect is the puddle light at the bottom of the door, and then the door cable and the other connectors near the center of the panel.
So to line this up here, this piece needs to come out, and you can just pull this part out of the way, slide that out. It'll drop in, and then push in all the clips all the way around. Now we can put the screws back in. So it's T30s, is one here, and one here.
I actually have to replace that one because it's...
Yeah, decapitated a bit. Yep. Pop this back in. Oh yeah, we have to do the...
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. First we can start pushing this back in. Oh, we have to make sure it goes behind the seal.
And you have to be careful because you're...
Oh yeah. Your seal can get pinched in here.
Yep.
So the window seal, it has to go right behind the window seal.
Finally, we can reconnect the tweeter and put it back in.
And then it slides on that way, I think.
Yep. Just make sure that it snaps in under there. And
Looks good.
good to go.
So just push it in.
Yep.
That's good. Nice and sturdy, like a Mercedes should be.
And that wraps up this rebuild for now. We'll definitely be back in the future with more projects as we keep improving it, but I have a new series coming very soon. If you watch this video closely, there's actually some pretty big hints. If you figured out what it is, let me know in the comments how big of a mistake you think I've made. And subscribe to find out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, it helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.